This week, we discuss how Chimney really bucks up meeting his brother Albert.
How Michael is making horrible decisions that he can't even blame on his brain tumor.
And how Buck isn't a guest or a resident in Eddie's house, but a secret gay or third thing.
Have you ever watched something that completely rewired your brain chemistry?
A procedural network drama might not be your usual pick, but it's ours.
This is The Buddie System, a 911 deep dive podcast hosted by three friends who have DM'd each other enough character dissertations to earn a PhD in media literacy.
I'm Han, coming to you straight from the characters' heads.
I'm Sil, bringing you to the observation deck.
And I'm Rachel, connecting the dots with my red string.
With our powers combined,
no stone is left unturned.
And no buddy is left behind.
This episode brought to you by 201 Reprise, Platonic version. Welcome to the Buddie System. What's on call this week?
Today we'll be discussing Season 3, Episode 11, Seize the Day, written by Lindsay Bulio and directed by Sarah Boyd, and the director of photography is Joaquin Cedillo. It originally aired March 16th, 2020.
We have 4 calls of the week, getting back to form. The first is, it's a bird, it's a plane, it's a skydiving instructor. As a mother and daughter prepare to go skydiving, their plane suddenly jerks mid-flight, causing the instructor to hit his head and fall out of the plane, tethered only by his tangled parachute. Our next one is Catfish Got Your Tongue? While enjoying a relaxing day out fishing with his wife, a man accidentally swallows his latest catch, talent. The next call we saw in this episode was No Guts, No Glory.
My God.
It was either that or Bully Dozer. So
Okay.
I couldn't choose between those.
Great.
A disgruntled homeowner whose house has been foreclosed upon runs over a man with a bulldozer, effectively eviscerating him. Fun stuff. And the last one is taking the windpipe out of your sails, where an intern on an office lunch run walks into a metal construction pole, rendering him unable to speak. And to his utter humiliation, his friend reads the love letter he wrote to his crush, who saw the whole thing happen.
Such a memorable call.
Right?
I do remember that one a lot.
That was like a whole ass rom-com.
It was.
In one scene. Like, it was great.
It was like a meet cute of all meet cute.
Yeah.
Anyways, general thoughts, questions, comments, concerns. Voice them now or forever hold your peace.
I have no comments. I'm kidding.
I was like, oh, we're allowed to hold our tongues on the podcast? We're allowed to say nothing? We just show up, sit here for a couple hours?
Hi.
I love meeting Albert. Bring him back.
I love him. I miss him.
Where are they now? Albert Hahn edition.
Love Albert. I wish he was in our later seasons because he's not anymore. And why does the ending feel like a season finale?
I know.
So you may have noticed that I have mentioned the ending of this scene a not insignificant amount of times on the podcast. And kept
This scene
referring
is
to
your
it
stuck.
as and I kept saying that it was this in the season 3 finale, but it in fact is in season 3 episode 11 randomly, and it's not even the actual end of the episode.
And I was always getting confused when you said it was at the end of 3, because I was like, no, it's at the end of 2. And we're both wrong. It's actually literally split the difference. Like, quite literally.
It's such a good scene. I think that like Albert brought so much to the show because, well, he's a very cute, interesting character, but he also kind of like unites the factions, if you will, of like the different, not cliques, but you know what I mean, of like all the
like the permutations.
Yeah, of like the extended 118. Like everyone kind of like gathers around to like welcome a new member, and then he just ingratiates himself so easily, and then he's living with Buck, so it's like I don't know. I miss him. Bring him back. It's a great episode because it's season 3 and they're all good episodes.
Oh, you know what else I loved? It was the only episode, well, the last episode that we got to see Eddie and Maddie interact, then we never see it again.
No.
For real. For real. They said 2 lines to each other. That's it. Bring back or just bring more Maddie and Eddie interactions. Formal leading
we don't get to
request.
see it until I guess the wedding.
Yeah.
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 But they don't have a conversation.
And even then, it's not even like a directly at, because like
Yeah.
at least the comments she made here were like at Eddie about Eddie.
Yeah.
And not just like you're another person in the room talking about another person that I am also talking about.
Mm-hmm. Okay, I think I figured it out. I think why we kept thinking this scene or this episode was closer towards an end of season thing is because it's so uplifting. And we've been talking recently about how season 3 is so depressing.
Yep.
All of the episodes are just like, they're very heavy, and we know what's coming up is also going to be very heavy. So this is kind of like a little breather, which makes sense because it is the mid-season premiere, because it ended off with Christmas Spirit, came back in March, and it was so optimistic for its time. Yeah. But I really do enjoy this episode. I think Albert was a great addition. Harlan Kim, where are you? Please come back. I also think it was like kind of another great ensemble, because while there was definite focus on like an A and B plot, we did have little moments that everybody shined through. And I think that is like, even if you have main plot lines that you're following, but as long as everyone is involved in some way, like in the main plot lines, and then you have like a little, vignette on their own, like with Hen and Karen. I think that makes a good ensemble episode. I think it also balanced the serious with the light tones very well in this episode, because we get like a lot of the serious stuff with Michael's storyline and a lot of what Chimney is feeling, but there is some levity in there with Albert and him being like this infusion of like freshness into the 118 dynamic. So I think it balanced that really nicely. I really like Lindsay Beaulieu's work, like consistently.
She's good.
Yeah. All right. Who's ready to hop into the jaws of life?
You.
Great.
You are.
I feel like you should have said skydive into the...
Oh,
okay.
Yeah, you should have, actually.
Okay, roll it back. That was a really good sound effect.
That actually was pretty good.
We're gonna need the jaws of life over here.
Okay, who's ready to skydive into the jaws of life?
Still no.
It was your idea.
Well, I meant... Yeah, no, that was fine. I meant that was fine. I just meant that was a comment for myself.
You just don't want to hear me babble on for 10 minutes about press articles. That's fine. Well, for anyone who does, actually, if you don't want to, just skip ahead now.
I'll just leave. I'll leave for 20 minutes.
Wow. Wow. I mean, I can just record this stuff on my own. Like the jaws of life, so you don't have to sit through it.
That's not what she meant. Oh my god.
When I said still no, I meant just skydiving in general.
Oh, that was not anywhere in my vicinity of understanding.
I know. You really took it to a whole different...
I took it real personal.
End of the spectrum. I don't know.
Oh, okay. Well, now that we've cleared that up, none of us are going skydiving. What do I have on here? I don't even know. Okay. So.
Okay, rumor has it. Let's go.
No, I'm doing this stuff before that. I'm gonna get there.
I'm sorry.
No, it's fine. You're disrupting the delicate balance. Okay,
Listen,
so
I got my full undivided attention. Let's
oh my
go.
god, that's scary, actually.
Eye contact.
All right, so because this is the mid-season premiere, there were a lot of articles, a lot of interviews with Tim Minear primarily, and in all of them, it's kind of previewing a little bit of what's to come in this back half of season 3 and some of the factors that played into this episode specifically. So with one of the articles, Tim was talking about throwing Albert into the mix. And he said, I think the appearance of Albert for Chimney allows Chimney to kind of see Albert as a marker for how far Chimney has advanced as a person and the life he's built for himself, and to sort of get more of an appreciation of it by seeing it through somebody else's eyes in a way. So I think it's a positive turn for Chimney and will help bring his priorities into sharper focus. And I like that he said that, because that's kind of exactly what I thought while I was watching the episode. And he's also said in another interview that because Chimney has kind of been a little bit of a satellite before he found the 118, he's been piecing together his own family his whole life. Now he has one, but I don't think he realizes to what extent he has accomplished this. So it really Albert really helps to serve as like a perspective shift for Chimney. We have another quote. These are pretty much all from Tim. So he was talking about Maddie and how she kind of also has gained this new perspective, especially from the last episode we saw, Christmas Spirit. So he says for Maddie to take that matter into her own hands and kill Doug was so traumatic that I felt she couldn't really move forward until she had a reckoning with that. And then that has allowed her to exhale and move forward. I believe she's now free of Doug, and so I think she's a sunnier, more optimistic Maddie going forward, which totally makes sense for the Maddie that we see in this episode.
Yeah, for sure.
So then in kind of like looking a little more forward for some of the things that we'll be seeing further down in 3B, Tim also said there will be some giant crises that will bring everyone together that will affect the entire city. So we're seeing the threads being woven in of all of like the teasing of like the big emergencies still to come. And it's always so ominous and threatening, because he says one of our characters will walk into a dark place and may never come out. And I know from us watching season 8, like that kind of speak always puts us into a little bit of a tailspin, but like in a fun way, hopefully. And sometimes not. So he clarified in another interview, he said, in particular, Athena is going to step into a dangerous place she may not come back from. And that is obviously priming up the serial rapist storyline that we're going to see at the very tail end of season 3. Now, in speaking about Buck and his headspace coming back in from the hiatus, Minear said that Buck has been mentally healing from his leg injury for a while now. So now his body has caught up to where his headspace was. It's always something with Buck. So moving forward, now that he has this clean bill of health and seems to be whole again, he's going to realize there might still be something missing. And it's not necessarily a medical condition. And then when included in the article, the writer said, when asked if that something missing could have anything to do with Abby's impending return, Tim Minear simply replied, it could. So with that, to kind of go into this little bit of a rumor mill, like a rumor has it, because these articles that I just read from came out the week of the episode premiering.
Mm-hmm.
So that's March 16th. In January of 2020, there was the Television Critics Association. It's like a press tour that I think brings out, a lot of the showrunners and some cast members and stuff like that. So it was a big to-do, a big ta-da. And this is like the first week of January. So prime, like at the height of hiatus, nothing's happening. Everyone's like chomping at the bit for any kind of tease information. And there's a rumor going around that Abby might be coming back in season 3. So a whole bunch of news outlets picked up on this, but they're basically all saying the same thing, that at the Television Critics Association, or the TCAs, Tim Minear was kind of teasing about a very exciting return of a certain character for at least an episode or 2 in the back half of season 3. So when someone asked if the character that's coming back is a dead one, Tim Minear said, no, she is not deceased. So then the question was asked, okay, so it's a she then. Are we talking about Connie Britton? And he said, we might be.
Oh my God.
And it's just like, I don't.
He's so coy.
I know. So coy. So like, I don't know. Maybe, maybe not.
Twirls hair.
Maybe.
Yeah. So
that's for me to know and you to find out.
Exactly. So they really started teasing this idea of Abby coming in at the in the second half of season 3, very early on. And it obviously got a lot of attention because I have like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 articles that are talking about this all in January, which is again 3 months before they come back from hiatus. So everybody's just kind of like spinning their wheels. Like, what's going to happen? Is Connie Britton coming back? And it's not confirmed yet. So
damn, I should have scoured the Reddit, the 911 Reddit to see like what people were like theorizing for her.
That kind of would have been we should actually do that, because that would have been an interesting like theorizing time.
Like, is she coming back for
Yeah.
Oh wait, did he say 1 or 2 episodes? He said one.
It said an episode or 2.
At least.
Yeah, at least.
But putting her at the end would have made it feel like maybe she could come back again, but like we don't want that. We don't need that. It's fine.
So then there were a couple articles that got written later on in January, and it's talking about Connie Britton's impending return. It wasn't confirmed at this point, but there was an interview with Oliver, I think also from the TCAs. So while he was there, and the interviewer asked about what the future could hold for Buck's love life, with or without his estranged ex-girlfriend. And Oliver said, I think it's really hard. So many people in that first season fell in love with the relationship between Buck and Abby. So she was really hard to replace. And Buck has grown so much since then. Moving forward, it'll be about finding the right partner for him. A lot of people have different ideas about who that could be, whether they're on the show already. I don't know what Abby's return means. I don't know what that's going to stir up, but it's teasing at stuff, which is always fun. And then in another article that came out a little later, again with Tim, he did say, I do believe Abby has unfinished business. She promised she would come back later, but she never did. So there's unfinished business for Abby, but definitely for Buck. He's kind of lost at sea right now. He's still trying to figure out who he is, and his relationship with Abby started to redefine him. Once she left, he had to figure out who he was without her. So I'm sure as we go through the rest of this 3B season, we will see more articles about like what's going to happen with Abby. What's going to happen with Abby? Because everybody wants to know.
So glad I was not around.
I would have been like, I do not give a singular fuck.
Yeah, it's probably
So
better
sorry.
for us that like we didn't see this kind of stuff.
I love Connie Britton. I love her. But yeah, the character. It's not one of my faves.
You can separate the character from the actor because she's a fantastic actor. But yeah, I just thought that was really interesting that there was so much kind of like anticipation already built up to go into this second half of season 3. That we can talk a little bit. I just have a couple little snippets about production stuff. So this is Lindsay Bolio's second episode that she has credit on. The first one, again, was Rage. It was the traffic stop with Michael. So there are like very Michael or like Grant family heavy storylines being featured here with her writing.
That and Fight Club and the lawsuit.
Yes, thank you. So I think these are 2 very strong episodes for her. Like we kind of mentioned a little earlier, I don't know if you remember 5 years ago, because this is July of 2025, but 5 years ago, the world ended on March 16th or like thereabouts, give or two a couple days. And this episode premiered on March 16th. So like the world as we knew it ended.
Like a doomsday clock via 911.
A little bit.
Oh,
A little bit.
Sorry, it took me a minute.
What day did we find out that we were not going to, in fact, be meeting Chris Evans?
I have no idea, actually. I just know it was March.
I think like between like the 14th and 18th. I'm pretty sure.
So that's my question. Were they like during this time when they were
Mhm.
airing this episode, were they still filming season? Were they even doing anything? What were they doing?
That I have to find out because I know they did. Well, I think they had filmed pretty far ahead because I think they came back to film and I found this in some articles and I'm going to touch on it later when we get to the episode. But I think they started filming Eddie Begins in January, and that's episode 15. So they were. I'm pretty sure that's what the article said. So
Is it because okay, maybe it's something I'm gonna have to look up, but like I feel like back in the day they used to end production like end of March.
earlier, they probably did,
Mm-hmm.
and they probably would have had to shut down anyways. But it seemed like they got everything done or good enough that it was edited that way. But I just think that that's kind of really interesting too because it feels so long ago, but also like in this grand scheme of things, it wasn't that long ago. But this is like, the cultural mile marker for us now, which is something. So just wanted to point that out. I saw the air date on this episode and I was like, oh, it was so optimistic. And yet.
March 13th, by the way.
Okay.
I was looking through text messages and I couldn't find it in ours, but I texted Becky on March 13th and said, girl, I hate everything.
Cool. So yeah, like that week.
That's how you know.
Okay. That's all I wanted to talk about that. So sorry to bring it down. So to bring the vibes back up, maybe sky high, if you will. So
oh my God.
The first call with the skydiving instructor that's, like flapping in the wind outside the plane and have Buck and Eddie basically surfing on the engine to catch him. It was actually Oliver and Ryan doing that stunt. So in another article, Tim said that Oliver and Ryan were standing on top of a moving fire truck going down the runway. Yep. He said, I'm not a big fan of throwing my stars in front of a green screen and having them play a scene against CGI. We put the actors into physical environments where they can interact with actual things.
I don't know how they got the network to approve that. I'm going to be so for real with you.
Yeah, it was really cool. They probably had so much fun that day.
I'm sure. I think there's a couple interviews.
There's a picture on, I think, Ryan's Instagram. So.
Oh, yeah. The one with like the silhouetted.
Yes, that one.
I just thought that was fun because I know Oliver has mentioned that he likes to do his own stunts when he's allowed. And I think Ryan is kind of similarly the same way. And that just sounds like a cool, fun day at work. Good job.
Yay.
Moving on.
Let's go.
Red String Corner. I've connected the dots.
You didn't connect shit.
So during the last call where it's the guy that like walks into the metal pipe and like gets his windpipe basically crushed, and the whole like weird meet cute rom-com situation happens, right? So Hen and Chimney are just there. So awkward. And then at one point, Hen says, I think we're caught in some weird Cyrano thing. So I thought that was such a funny, and this occurs like right after the guy was like, oh yeah, that's Shakespearean. So we've got some literary references here.
I love when 911 does that.
I know. Okay. It's so good. So Cyrano de Bergerac is a play written by a French playwright, Edmond Rostand, written in 1897. And it's the story of a poet and a swordsman. His name is Cyrano, and he's in love with Roxanne, who is his cousin. But I think that, par for the course at the time. So we'll just forget that part. So he's in love with Roxanne.
Roxanne.
Cyrano is in love with Roxanne, but his large nose makes him undesirable. So he decides then to help the very handsome Christian win Roxanne's heart. So he's basically like vicariously.
Yeah.
Like living vicariously through Christian. So Cyrano secretly writes the love letters that Christian gives to Roxanne. And he is so concerned about like self-consciousness, and he can't take action. And eventually like Roxanne falls in love, but she falls in love with the amalgamation of Christian and Cyrano, like who the person or the persona that they created together, essentially. So like she's not really in love with either of them for who they are. Anyway, so it's a play that deals a lot with unrequited love, inner and outer beauty, the conflict between like appearance and reality, all that kind of stuff. So there's your literary education, English Lit 101 for the day. I think there was also very recently a movie with Peter Dinklage starring as Cyrano. I have not seen it yet, but I've heard good things. So if you want to see it, I think there's also another movie. Was it with Steve Martin? Because I feel like I've seen that one. It was
Sounds
like
like
in
the plot of
something.
something from the late 90s, early 2000s.
Well, yeah, I think there have been a lot of like Cyrano has been like the inspiration for a lot of romantic comedy, drama movies, stuff like that. Anyways, so just something interesting. There's your literary reference. And then to get into some parallels and foreshadowing, we think we'll talk about it more in character arcs, but Chimney and Buck's relationships with their parents specifically, I think we see a lot of like Chimney and Buck parallels just in general. Maddie and Albert both ran to their brothers. So we see a lot of like Han Buckley siblingism there. We also see Michael updating his will, which ties back to 305 Rage, which is the episode that Lindsay Bolio also wrote. And that talk that Michael had with Bobby, and just saying, bringing up wills again kind of foreshadows Eddie's will stuff that, gets sparked by the well. But we won't see that come to fruition until season 4.
Where there's a well, there's a way.
Where there's a well, there's a will way. And then some other foreshadowing stuff when Buck says to Chimney, wow, you finally get a chance to know your brother. Yeah. That really hurts, knowing what we know.
Yikes.
I want to know if the donor baby storyline was conceived for Buck Begins, or if it's something that they like came up with before that. Like not from the beginning, I don't think probably, but like
not from season 1, but like
I want to know when that idea was conceived.
I want to know that too. I would love to know that, because I think they could have started thinking about that as early as maybe later season 2, but probably season 3 at the earliest.
2 is possible. At some point, maybe while they were making other Begins episodes,
they were starting to think about other people's.
Yeah.
Also something about the bulldozer burying the guy with the foreclosing house. And I'm just anything that has to do with dirt and burying and being stuck in the dirt. I'm just like, Eddie Begins. Somehow it's related.
Coming for you.
Anything like with mud and earth and like burying and like tight spaces. I'm just like, yes, foreshadowing. I don't care if it's grasping at straws.
Feeling stuck, you mean?
And, getting yourself unstuck. Last thing I have is Albert staying at Buck's is foreshadowing roomies. And they were roommates.
Oh my God.
But platonic. An actual roommate.
Not like wink wink roommates. No, actual roommates. That's all I got.
Yay!
Let's seize the day for some themes, if you will. All right, now that it's cringy. It's so hard. This is my favorite pastime. So
think I want to cry.
Tears of joy.
Oh my god.
Pain. That one hurt me, actually.
No, you know what? That's fair. It was not good. I just wanted to see how bad I could make it. So,
Wow.
Sure.
okay, so this episode again is called Seize the Day. So, what are we seeing most of? Seizing the day. So, all sorts of stuff we see about second chances, like a new lease on life, especially after near-death experiences or someone else passing or diagnoses, all of that stuff. New lease on life, which also leads into new perspectives, which doesn't necessarily have to do with like, you don't have to have like a near-death experience or anything like that, but just like a change in how you view things. And I think we've seen that a couple times in the last few episodes as well. And then we have using your voice and speaking up for yourself. We see this quite literally with the guy who gets his windpipe crushed walking into the pipe.
But his words were still heard.
His words were still heard. Exactly. I think having Chimney there at that call, like that's kind of speaking to him, because it's a lot about like speaking up for yourself is about like overcoming any doubts that you have in yourself and wanting to feel seen, wanting to be seen, and instead of feeling invisible, which what so much of Chimney's storyline in this episode was about. And also we know just like fuck, like baseline.
Yeah.
So and just like being around people that make you feel seen. We also have finding your path and purpose. In this case, it's kind of like, are you running away or what are you running towards? Are you running away from something, or are you running towards like your purpose and your path to like find something? Well, we see that kind of conversation happen when they're at Chimney's like birthday party when they're playing pool. Then we have this continued theme that we keep seeing in season 3 of the keep fighting to survive. I always want to say always keep fighting, but
Fucking
I would
damn
hate it every time. I know.
AKF.
It haunts us.
I know. Always keep fighting, but like specifically fighting to survive. This kind of like fight or flight aspect. We see Michael say like, no, I'm going to keep fighting, that kind of stuff. And then of course the big overarching themes for season 3 is family dynamics and family relationships. This time we have a lot of emphasis on sibling relationships, where it's kind of like an older versus younger battle royale a little bit. Kind of like who has the eldest daughter syndrome. Which siblings are jealous of the other, or maybe both are jealous of the other for different reasons. And you see a lot of like the younger sibling looking up to the older one. And then we also have, again, parent and child relationships. So we have over-involved parents who are meddlers, like the mom at the skydiving call where she's like, let me do my matchmaking thing. Are you guys single?
Like, girl.
Classic. I mean, can't blame her. But, you know, there's the over-involved parents, and then on the complete opposite end of the spectrum, we have the completely disinterested parents, like Mr. Han, whose first name I cannot remember, but he does not deserve that respect.
No, he doesn't.
So,
Fuck him.
So Mr. Han, completely disinterested in Chimney. But then you have Maddie talking about her parents and how they're not bad people, just bad parents. So we're starting to get this image of the Buckley parents as well being disinterested in their children. And then additionally, we have the kids who take on a lot of responsibility and maybe have to parent their parents. We see that a lot. May talking to Michael, kind of like an equal. We see Chimney talking to his dad in that way as well. Lots of that stuff. We're seeing this all throughout the season. And of course, last but finally not least, found family, because family comes to us in different ways.
Yeah.
Sure does.
It
And
sure
sometimes
do.
those bonds are stronger than the family that you're born into.
You've tried so hard not to say it.
Mm-hmm. I have this supernatural disease.
Yep.
Family don't end in blood.
Oh, our first Bobby.
Who also died.
I hate it here.
We just need to stop having characters named Bobby, first of all.
I'm not going to watch any more shows where there is a Bobby.
No.
Parental figure that I'm going to get attached to.
They better change that name to Sweet.
Nope. Does he? I don't care. If his name is Robert and he goes by something else, that's fine. But if he goes by Bobby, no, I'm all set.
We have enough dead Bobbies. Thank you very much. Don't need
I
to
have
add
2 nickels. That's plenty.
sweet, sweet music you can make by rubbing them together.
Who's cooking? All right, let's talk about characters. So, gonna start with Henrietta. Yes, Henren, beloved Henren, who have finally decided to expand their family, but in the way of fostering, and they don't really have a plot line in this episode, but there's just this little moment like Rachel mentioned earlier in like general thoughts, like how it's nice that we still get these little things even when they don't like have a
full
lot of
storyline. Yeah.
in that episode.
We get to check in with them. So it's like their story still gets to move forward, which I do like, and it's not just kind of like at a standstill until they get, A or B plot.
So she hands out these papers to everyone, and it's very detailed, specific instructions of like what to say about Hen Karen to people who will reach out to them to like give a good character
reference.
witness.
Yeah,
basically. And Bobby is very lovingly like, know and love you. Like, we don't need to be prompted to say all of the good things we know about you. And she was like, no, actually stay on the script. Like, this is
do not
important to mess
embarrass
up.
me.
I don't trust, you're all men. I don't trust any of you.
Or specifically Karen, because Karen's the one who actually wrote.
Oh yeah. She was like, no, all of them say the weirdest out of pocket shit. Give them scripts, please.
I know I think she was like, no, actually just stick to these 26 points.
Yes. Yeah.
But like Bobby comes at it in such a loving, like caring way. And it's like, yes, that's true. You do know them and they are in good hands with the rest of the 118 as character witnesses. But it's just so funny because they're so a little like, oh, about like, we have to get this right. We have to be good at this. Because that's kind of like who Hen and Karen are a little bit. Like they're
both type A people.
Yeah. They very much are.
Yeah.
We get a little cute lore drop that she was first chair for the bassoon.
And she was
damn good.
Does that mean Hen was a band kid?
Yes.
Yes.
I love that for her. This makes sense.
Wait.
Yeah.
Question. Were any of you guys band kids?
I stopped being a band kid before being a band kid actually got fun.
What did you play?
The clarinet.
Oh, nice.
Strictly just because my mother already had one and they didn't have to buy an instrument. So
you inherited the clarinet.
I did become a band kid, kind of the same way, like just middle school. And I think it was just the first 2 years of middle school. I picked the French horn. And
whoa.
Yeah. I picked the French horn and I was not good at it.
Notoriously difficult.
Yes.
That's a hard instrument.
Yes. Yeah. Because you also gotta, not only do you have to blow into the thing, you also
Brass
gotta
instruments are harder.
Gotta do something with your hand.
Yeah.
Yeah.
My sister played saxophone in
I would have rather
middle school and high school. She did marching band and I was like, hell no. Because I would see her like do band practice like in the height of August, like July and August in Florida. And I'm just like, I'm so glad I didn't do that.
If I'm ever reincarnated and I have to go through public high school again, I will be a band kid.
I think I would too.
Yeah.
Anyway,
so Anne and Hen, band kids. Hen was a band kid. Love
Yep.
that for her. First chair.
And she was damn good.
And then we get to see them meeting Nia, and it's very sweet, but also sad because we know that they don't get to keep her. But
She's
know.
such a cutie patootie.
Oh my God, she's adorable.
Ugh.
And it's a really lovely moment between Hen and Karen as they're awaiting like their potential new family, right?
Mhm.
So all of a sudden, all of the nerves are coming up, and Karen's like, you know, kind of nervous, and Hen's like, we can't back down now. But but it's just like classic parent stuff where it's just like if you weren't worried,
yeah,
then that's worrying. But they're good parents, so they wanna you know, do right by this kid that they're going to be fostering. And Hen was like, well, we weren't ready for Denny, but we have to take a leap of faith. So they're kind of like the episode says, seizing the day and seizing like, you know, a way to grow their family in a non-traditional manner and taking life by the reins in that way.
Hen Wilson, Peter B. Parker. Sometimes you just have to it's a leap of faith.
Yeah. Also adopts kids, Peter B. Parker. So it's just really cute. I love that for them.
On to Michael and May.
Well, it's mostly Michael, but May plays a pivotal role, I thought.
So this is a bummer of a storyline.
Just like the rest of season 3.
Yeah.
That's why we started out with Hen.
Yeah.
To buoy it a little bit.
Yeah. So I don't know how to go about this without calling him stupid constantly.
Misguided?
Yeah. I don't know. It's like he's listening to his kid, but like hearing something completely different than what she's saying. It's really frustrating because she was trying to just like give him a pep talk, basically. That's like, you know, like, you're going to be okay as long as there are options, like, and you're not going to give up, like, you're going to be okay. She wasn't like giving him permission to give up and die.
So when May, who is obviously taking the news about Michael and his diagnosis, and now that he's gone through radiation and it hasn't made anything better, it hasn't made anything worse, which is great, but it hasn't made anything better. She is obviously very worried because she's older than Harry. She kind of understands and grasps the concepts a little more realistically, right? And we've talked about that before, about like May kind of growing up, especially in this season. Like,
well, she's like
she's like
a junior or senior, in high school now. So like,
she's really
she's
like
almost an adult.
The curtain is getting like pulled back from her about like real life stuff. So when she goes over and she talks to Michael, she's trying to change his perspective in like a stop planning for your death kind of way. Like there's hope and there's options in case things don't work out very well. But like you have to stop looking at it as if those bad things are going to happen. And then he takes that and he runs with it in the opposite direction. And I was just like, it was so it was actually kind of confusing to me because he was using kind of the same exact logic and reasoning that he was using for getting the surgery that he says for not getting the surgery. And I'm just like, huh? It's hard. It was hard for me to wrap my mind around his choices as a character.
So I don't think any of this is conscious, but I think how he has been feeling the rest of the season, like feeling like kind of on the outside and feeling like an extra in his own family, is kind of playing in whatever kind of like depression or whatever he has because of that. And, you know, having cancer, because it is a bummer, is kind of influencing his thought processing. So it's not.
For sure.
Yeah. So he kind of took it and his mind twisted it like, okay, I want to be able to be as present and myself as possible, like with my kids, with the time I have left, instead of going into this very possibly, because like brain surgery is
very risky,
very risky. Like even if you don't die, like it can affect your memories, it can affect your personality.
Yeah.
So
and he was terrified of that.
And he was very scared. So he kind of latched on and was like, I want to be able to be present and with my kids and myself while I can and guarantee that I can do that. And then once I'm gone, I know they'll be fine because they still have Bobby and Athena.
Yeah. And to me, that's so like, oh, I get that. But like to hear him say like, I'm still going to keep fighting. It's like, it doesn't sound like that's what you're doing. Like, I understand the want to be more present in the time that you have now, but also like, why is he then like minimizing the time that he has when he could go through a potentially risky surgery and have so much more time later on? Like, to me, that would be, and we can compare this to Chimney's mom as well, because he said that she kept fighting and fighting until she couldn't.
Yeah.
And it's just like, it seemed like she was fighting to get more time, you know? So
that's the way it goes with cancer.
Yeah. Anyways, sorry, that might be a little personal.
I don't know.
Experiences.
I don't know that we need to start talking. I mean, I have a lot of, I know that you do. Mine aren't as, but like my Bubby, like all of my grandparents. Yeah.
So I do think it's kind of interesting, at least, that when we see them at the beginning of this episode, when it's like the whole family sit down together and May is the one to voice concern first. And she's like, it's never a good thing when you sit us down like this. It is very much like the pilot episode.
Yeah.
Right? Where it's just like, oh, there is a family meeting going on and I'm not sure you're going to like this.
Yeah. When they're sitting down at the table and it's not for a meal, that's like danger.
Yeah. Yeah. And it's like everyone's holding hands.
Just got PTSD.
Yeah.
Exactly. I think it was activating that a little bit for everybody. But this time, like, Bobby is in tow, which is great. So it is different than it was before, especially because they, like, all three parental figures, Bobby, Athena, and Michael, in this case, when they're sitting down at the table, are presenting very much a united front, right?
Yeah.
This is their blended family, right? And they've talked about it. They've communicated with each other. They said, okay, here's how we're going to address this with the kids. This is how we're going to move forward together. I think Athena is like she emphasizes the togetherness, right? But then it's kind of, I don't want to say backslides, but like when they come together again for like that backyard barbecue and it's the whole fam together, it's almost like a redux of the pilot conversation again, because here's Michael just like barreling through this decision that he's made that is kind of a shock to everybody else, and he's made a unilateral decision and there's no more like united front, right? And that was kind of how it went down in the pilot episode, where Athena was like, I'm not ready, don't tell the kids, and he was just like, I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna do it anyways. So it's like, I just thought that was like an interesting comparison, how you had everybody all together and then like his perspective shifted, which is not like necessarily a good or a bad thing. It just shifted. So it took everybody else by surprise that they now have to kind of catch up to be able to deal with and comprehend the potential fallout, I guess, of Michael's decision. So, and I think Michael's insistence that he's not giving up, but all we have is today, is specifically aimed at Athena and Bobby, because so much of their relationship milestones, like them getting together, them deciding to get married, like getting engaged, was predicated on the events happening around them. That was like, tomorrow is never promised. So I think he was really trying to like appeal to their nature, like their better nature in that aspect. And of course they were just kind of like a little blindsided. So they had to be like, okay, we'll do this as a family.
He knew that this was not the move, because if it was, and he knew that he would have had their support, he would have told them before just like throwing it on the entire family so that they could present a united front and, you know what I mean, like tell the kids like a unit as the parental unit.
Mhm.
But instead he was just like, yeah, no, I just decided I'm gonna like just be chill and see what happens with the cancer.
I'm just gonna live life.
Live, laugh, love. Oh my god.
And honestly,
Literally.
honestly, maybe that was again part of him feeling like an outsider in the family unit anyways, but to that aspect, he's making himself more of an outsider. Like he's not helping himself because he has them all to lean on, and it seemed like they were doing that. And then he goes and he's just like, no, I'm going to make a unilateral decision that is going to isolate myself further. And it's just like, that's not helping you.
No, it's not.
It's not in your better interest. I love that you have a great new perspective, but like, that's
my dude.
Yeah. And
when we rewatched this together, I literally was like, no, I would knock my father the fuck out and take him to the hospital and get him in surgery. Like, no, I would be guilting him. I'd be like, oh, so you don't love me. So you just want to die and leave me.
Jesus.
Like, I would be doing whatever it took to get my dad's dumb ass in surgery.
And I feel so bad for May too, because I think she does feel on some level responsible, even though he says no, but like that perspective shift happened because of their conversation. And I don't think that is what she was intending. And she's like, no,
it's not at all.
That's not what I meant. But I do also think it's kind of interesting then, because this gives an opportunity for these characters and for us as the audience to see how these characters deal with like a little more insight into how they deal with something like an impending deadline or an outcome, because we've seen how they handle unexpected disasters. We've seen like Eddie with Shannon. We've seen, how they handle Bobby potentially being, radioactive and all of that health stuff and all of that unknown that's unexpected. This is something that they are able to like plan for almost. So I guess it's like an interesting opportunity to see how they deal with that going forward. Question mark.
I'd be so mad.
Circling back to like May.
Yeah.
Dude, if something, because we know like this actually does have a happy ending, like he doesn't, expire.
Yeah. Thank goodness it has a happy ending.
Yeah. He doesn't expire. But if he had,
imagine if they had.
A girl's going to have more PTSD than she already has. Like
I know.
Her suicide, her mom getting, which we'll see at the end of the season.
Yeah.
And you're going to, oh no. Wait, I'm sorry. I was going to say her father dying. And then I was like, wait.
The other one.
The other one did.
I know.
I hate it here.
I
know. Much.
I know. Imagine if they had actually killed Michael off rather than just write him off the show.
He might as well be dead.
I know.
Okay, but here's the thing about Bobby. It's not like Bobby. Oh no.
What?
I was gonna say something like, okay, at least like May didn't have like this talk with Bobby prior to a death. You know what I mean? Where she would have potentially felt guilty for the impending death or whatever. Because like that's what would have happened if like Michael had died. Because she would have felt like shit.
Yeah.
Well, he almost does that in Mayday, trying to save her.
You know what? I hate
Awesome.
Made it here.
It's
talk about this anymore.
Oh god. And I know when we get to Mayday, we're gonna find so much to parallel between like Bobby and May, and then Bobby and Buck in those last. Why?
Anyway, let's talk about other people.
I think we're done with that one. Actually,
I have nothing else to say that isn't more. I hate it here or personal cancer anecdotes. or like my own father going in for surgery and like feeling the way that May feels. Like,
it's just
I don't
like,
know. It's just depressing.
Yeah, it's depressing, and it's hard sometimes when characters make such, I'm going to be generous and say perplexing.
I was going to say asinine decisions, but
Dumbass.
sure.
Also a word.
Dumbass.
I mean, and that's what makes good characters great, because they do things like this, but also it gets us worked up.
I thought you were going to say that's what makes good television. I was about to like throw something at the screen.
I wouldn't dare. No. It's what makes good characters. But you know what? You have to have alive characters in order to do this. So you have to have alive characters in order to make good TV. Ironic. Okay.
Oh, Jesus fucking Christ. Okay.
Well, I'm not sure this is much better, but like Chimney is having a hard time. Also, it's his birthday.
It's your birthday. So while we were rewatching this, I was like, oh, this is just 201, but familial platonic. Because it's the exact beats.
Introduction of new character.
Yeah.
Our old character, not old, but feels threatened. And like new character is going to usurp their position in the family unit. It's the same thing.
And it's not because of that person. It's because they themselves don't feel secure in like their place and their value and their own worth to the people in their lives. It has nothing to do with the new person. But like Chimney and Buck do have a lot of similarities in how they react to things sometimes. It's so
interesting. Yeah.
I was trying to think of a word that isn't interesting, but whatever, sue me.
If you get tired of hearing us say the word interesting,
we're open to suggestions.
Yes. Send us a thesaurus.
Oh, that was so enlightening, guys.
So interesting. What a fascinating thing to pontificate upon.
To ponder?
Well, I have other things to say to continue about that, but it goes in slow burn, So
we meet Albert,
who we love.
And he's just like a little present on Chimney's birthday, and Chimney's not happy about that.
I actually didn't ask for this. So close. I just wanted a phone call from my father.
Yeah, I think it would have been a little easier for him to see Albert if it wasn't immediately preceded by, oh my gosh, my dad's calling. He remembered my birthday. Yeah. Immediate disappointment.
And then listens to the voicemail from his dad that's like, your brother's gonna be there, make him come home. And then nothing about his birthday. Like that's implied what it was.
Oh yeah, nothing about Chimney, right? So there's already this sense of, we know Chimney has a strained relationship with his father. That's putting it very mildly. So we already know that he feels a sense of inadequacy and in feeling that he's invisible to his dad, because his dad doesn't care about him at all. Doesn't show any kind of care.
Nope.
At this point in time, only about Albert. So that also, it kind of unfairly puts Albert in the crosshairs of Chimney's frustration with his relationship with his dad. And it's like, it's because of you. It's not. It's because of his dad, and his dad being a bad dad. Albert kind of suffers the brunt of it. And so like Albert just comes in, they meet because they've never met before. And he admits at that point, like that early on, that their father is suffocating. Chimney doesn't hear that at all. That would have been like such a great point for them to start bonding on. But he's so thrown off by the whole thing that all Chimney hears is that Albert just threw away the thing that Chimney always wanted. So why would he look at him with any kind of like, or like welcome him with open arms sort of thing. So he's already like really prickly about the situation. And it's so funny because Maddie is the one to like welcome Albert and to say, of course you can stay. And it's not Chimney. Like it takes her a minute to kind of like understand what Chimney's feeling about this. But I think with Maddie being so open and of course you can stay, of course, like you're his brother. Why not? It comes from her own experience with Buck and the importance of that sibling relationship that she has, which I'm sure she would love Chimney to have with his brother who just showed up out of nowhere. But it's not so easy.
And the hierarchy of terrible parents on 911.
Aren't they all at the top of the pyramid?
I was like, who's the worst?
The Buckleys.
Like where?
For me, it's the Buckleys, and then followed by.
Here's the thing, though. Like, at least they fed, housed, and clothed their children until they were adults and didn't leave them and go to another country. Like, that's all they did.
Yeah. But Mr. Han also does that do-over with Albert that the Diazes so badly wanted to do.
Oh, yeah. No, he actually actively did it instead of, like, waiting for Chimney to have a child and trying to steal it.
So, like...
Wait, was that not the... Hold on. I'm trying to remember, like, when he actually comes back in season 6.
Mm-hmm.
What was the reason for that? Just because he wanted to have a relationship for Ji-yeon?
Yeah. Not Chimney. Just Ji-yeon.
The grandparents are only there for the grandkid. It's bizarre.
Parenting doesn't skip a generation.
So weird.
Like, actually, that's not how that works.
No, it's actually not.
You don't get to just show up and be a grandparent. You have to be a parent in order to get the grandkids, first of all. But, like...
Yeah.
Yeah, maybe one day we should do, like, a battle royale of the bad parents.
That can be a mini-sode.
Yeah. Diaz's versus Buckley's versus Hans versus Nash's.
Yeah. Oh, God, the Nash's. They might be the worst.
It depends on the day. And yeah.
We'll explore that.
Only one who is exempt is Tony.
Yeah.
Yep.
Even though she forgot her daughter's birthday.
Yeah.
Well, you know what? That pales in comparison to some of the
all
other
of this.
things everybody else has said. So you know what?
Yeah.
It's okay. It's not okay, but it's like
she's
not
old.
as bad.
You should
She
be
birthed her.
celebrating me. Celebrating me.
Exactly.
Oh my God.
Okay, let's get back on track.
Hilarious.
Speaking of terrible parents, so Chimney is parenting his dad.
Yeah, because he's trying to like actually mediate because he cannot actually help it because it's who he is. And he's like, just let him do his own thing and like then he'll be more open and probably just come back himself, like of his own volition, instead of like you trying to force him to. And his dad's basically what so he can throw his life away like you.
It's so disparaging.
Chim, like, he stands up for himself. He's like, I have a good life and like I have a good job and I like do good things. And he's like, and you put your life on the line. And I'm just like, why do these terrible characters care so much about their kid doing a dangerous job?
I know
we'll get there, but like we'll get there in the scene dissection. But it's just so interesting because Albert, when Eddie reveals that he went into like the service and all of that, he also sees it as a high regard. So like firefighting is also that. So like it's just crazy to me that their dad is like, oh, you're putting your life at risk and not like really like putting it like at the highest form of I don't know, like it's I think it's an honorable job. Like
yeah,
it's just weird.
It's so the care for them not dying is so at odds with the general not care about everything else about
anything else about their existence.
It's like, okay, you are literally doing the bare minimum of I hope you don't die. But like
this is what makes it clear to me that Albert this is what makes it clear to me is that Albert was supposed to be like some kind of like legacy baby, you know what I mean?
Oh yeah. Like groomed to probably take on his father's business, whatever.
In the same way that Eddie was supposed to be with his dad.
Yep.
Yeah. And then it's like, oh, you didn't turn out to do exactly the thing that I created you to do. Well, everything you do is actually terrible now.
Hold on, dude. The you didn't do everything that I created you to do is so buck.
That too.
Mm-hmm.
Jeez. These people need better parents.
My God.
So it's like, I think we really see in this moment when Chimney does stand up for himself. He advocates for Albert, which
Mm-hmm.
is a lot, but he stands up for himself.
Yeah.
And I think this really shows so much growth.
Yeah, it does.
From season 1, where he's proud of who he is. He loves his job. He doesn't have to pretend to be something that he's not anymore because he is so...
And he doesn't make himself small.
Exactly. He's so secure in himself, but his dad makes him feel small. And there's always going to be a part of him that, like, his dad's, like, complete dismissal just, like, undercuts all of the growth that he's done. So, like, he's trying to, like, build himself up, and it just, like, cuts him down. And
well, there's no one who can throw you back into feeling like a dejected little kid. Like the people who dejected you when you were a kid.
Exactly. Like, and then I remembered that Athena said to the little boys, I think Stevie, he and his brother were kidnapped. This was all the way back in 211 New Beginnings. That, you know, parent approval is something we all crave. And that was to imply, because, like, in that episode, like, her mom came back in the picture. So, like, even though it's not necessarily something, or it's something that you know that you don't need, there's still, like, an inherent want for that, right? Because it's like you want to make the people closest to you, like, familially proud. And when they don't give you the chance to do that, that's so disappointing. And you have to like build your own family otherwise. And it's, and we learn later that, like, Chimney thought when he was growing up that his dad wasn't interested in being a father, but only to find out, you know, that
he was, just not to him.
It's not to him. And that's also very Buckley parent coded.
I was like, I know that this is very another fictional character from a different show, but I can't remember who I'm thinking of. Like that exact line.
Try me.
I don't know. But that line of, like, I thought that he didn't want to be a parent, but it turns out they just didn't want to be a parent to me. Like, I know that's like another, it's not Dean.
I thought it was Dean.
It's not Dean though.
No,
because his dad also didn't parent Sam.
No, but I think that's talking about Adam.
Oh, thank you.
Because I had that same thought. I had that same thought.
I always forget about Adam.
I know. Left him in the cage for years.
Oh my God, poor Adam.
I know. I love Adam. But yeah, no. I had that same thought, and I was like, oh yeah, it's like Dean when they found out about Adam, and John bringing Adam to the baseball games that Dean and Sam never got to go to. It's the same thing. Yeah, it's so upsetting. And it's just like, so Chimney is really, like, fostering this giant animosity for this 20-year-old kid who has done nothing wrong but exist. Which is like, but it's because he's mad at his dad. And then meanwhile, like, everybody is just, like, so excited to meet Albert and to get to know him. And that's just kind of making it worse for Chimney. But the thing is, everybody wants to know Albert and to get to know him and to, like, bring him into the fold because he is Chimney's brother. It doesn't actually have anything to do with Albert.
No.
It's all because of his connection to Chimney, and that speaks to how much the 118 love Chimney, that they would just, like, automatically, like, welcome in with open arms anybody that is associated with him. They're like, we love Chimney, so obviously we're going to love Albert, but Chimney's so in his own head that he can't see that, and he's just kind of like, he's kind of like almost overcompensating, but in a different way than we saw in season 1, where he's like overly minimizing his heroics, and Maddie has to step in and be like, no, he's really great at his job. And when Albert comes to the station, everyone's like, bigging Chimney up.
Yeah.
But he can't see that.
I also think, not to bring this up again every time, Chimney, but I also think part of it is twofold things that I talk about, is that he doesn't want to have another brother because he doesn't want to ever feel the pain of losing a brother the way he did.
Yes.
So that's why his whole thing with Buck is always like, keep him at an arm's length,
Yeah, I was going to talk about that in the scene dissection as well.
Yeah. And I feel like that's also niggling in the back of his brain. He's like, I don't even want to get to know him. I don't want to get to know him. And I don't want to care about him. And then, lose him. Because like, he's just going to go back anyway. Like, I don't want to get to know him, care about him, and then also be left by him, even if he doesn't die.
Chimney has a very similar abandonment issues as Buck, where he is the one who feels like he's always being left. And so sometimes that defense mechanism comes out where he pushes someone away before they can even get close to him, because he's just like, nope, can't do it. I'm going to better leave before you get left. What song is that from Taylor? Like,
It's Something Bad?
That one.
Yeah.
So Chimney is just like thinking that everyone sees Albert as like the shiny, new, more fun Chimney, but it's not. They love Albert because they love Chimney. And yeah, it's really cute when Albert does show up to the station, because like he obviously just wants to see Chimney's life, be part of his world, if you will. More Little Mermaid references.
He does though. He's like, oh my God, my cool older brother that I've literally never met. And he has this entire life.
And
that
family.
I get to find all about. Yeah.
He broke away from our dad's like control, and like, he's so cool. I want to be like him. And yeah.
And it's really cute because everybody is like so willing to bond with him, and he's like, oh, you like baseball? I love baseball. And all of this like really, really sweet stuff. And it's just like, Hen's just like, let me tell you the gossip, because I'm the best friend, so I've got some funny stories for you. And Chimney's just like in his own little corner, like being a grumpy.
He really does just buck it up. Like, he bucks it up the whole episode.
He does.
He's pulling classic Buck moves, like the entire, and like, which I think we're getting there soon in the scene dissection, but that scene at the karaoke bar is just like literally take any scene where Buck pulls that kind of shit and it's like epically bad, and then the immediate regret, and Chimney's right there like, oh, I don't know, 704 comes to mind, and he literally says, well, you bucked that up, didn't you?
Yeah.
Hey! Where's the fire?
I love how Maddie, so I think I guess we're entering scene dissection territory, but
yes,
I think it's like the beginning of the scene, and she's like, it's all about you today. And it just like reminds me of like, how Buck, Buck has that whole thing about like, well, I don't try to make it about myself, it's about me.
Yeah, it's more Chim and Buck parallels, where it's just like, you're gonna make it all about you. Again, this was like on purpose, like Maddie trying to make it about Chimney, because he was feeling so, kind of like pushed aside as they're walking into, I guess, like his birthday party celebration and the karaoke. Meanwhile, as they're walking in, Albert is already there singing with Hen. So he's basically like, he's basically taken Chimney's spot with his bestie. And it's just like, and the whole crowd is enjoying it. Like, they're killing
it's 201 and 704, but platonic.
Oh, does Chimney know? It makes me wonder, does Chimney know that he also acts like Buck a little bit? He would deny
Maybe
it so hard.
You know what? It's maybe one of those things where it's like when you are a self-aware person and you know that there are things about yourself that drive you crazy and you see that behavior in other people and like more than it would normally other people, makes
like
you so irrationally irritated or more judgmental about it because it's something that you don't like about yourself. I feel like that might be part of it.
I think that probably is why, like, those few times where Buck and Chimney kind of like disagree or come to blows, like it is a little more explosive. And I think it's because they are so similar. So like later on in season 5, when they are so protective about Maddie, like they're doing it for the same reasons, just with like coming at it from slightly different angles. So that's why they clash so hard. But just generally speaking, they're very similar, which is also makes it really funny that Maddie like ends up with Chimney. Because it's just like someone who has kind of similar familial foundations. Like obviously Maddie doesn't really get the Buck treatment from her parents, but like she understands it and she saw it like firsthand for a lot of it. So yeah, at karaoke, Albert and Hen, they're killing it. Everyone's like applauding them, and that just rubs Chimney the wrong way. Because it's like he still feels so invisible, but he doesn't see the gift of everybody bringing Albert in like their own little brother for what it is. And so it cuts to them playing pool. So I think it's Buck and Eddie and Albert playing pool, and Hen and Chimney and Maddie are kind of sitting off to the side. So Chimney is also doing that kind of self-isolation thing that we saw with Michael a little bit. It's a little self-imposed, but it's because he can't get over his own issues on that. Yeah. And there comes to this topic of conversation as they're playing pool about, Albert running away, and is he running away from home and from his father, or is he running towards something? Towards Chimney, towards a new life, towards like forging his own path. And then we see everyone's little perspectives on that. So Buck says, and I think I love these little kind of scenes because they say so much about the characters. Buck chimes in and is like, sometimes you got to put a little mileage between yourself and home so you can figure out what you want and who you are. And it's just like,
oh, someone who literally just drove all over North America.
And some of South America.
To get away from his parents. Yeah.
Yeah. And like at this point in the series, like during a first watch, you wouldn't know all of that background information yet. But this is alluding to some of that and they follow through. And then Eddie's little lore drop of, if I hadn't enlisted, I'd still be working with my pops. And Maddie, who it's not said explicitly in this scene, but it was brought up before about her leaving Doug, but coming to find Buck, like all of those, and even Chimney a little bit, all of those instances, depending on your perspective, right? And the perspective can change, is about, are you running away or are you running towards something? And it really depends on which way you look at it. And it's just like really fascinating, like character development work there. So we get like Eddie's little, if I hadn't enlisted, I'd still be working with my pops. And then our one Eddie and Maddie interaction ever. Our one direct Eddie and Maddie interaction.
Like, Eddie, don't give him the wrong idea or whatever she
Don't
says.
encourage
him to go off to war.
And it's just like, we need more of that, please. That is so fun and bantery. That is a sibling relationship right there. 100%. That is like,
yeah, because he's still like, when it cuts back to Eddie, he's still like making faces.
Yeah.
And it's like, it all.
We haven't seen them hang out.
No. Like on a casual environment.
We haven't seen them build a rapport.
No.
I would love to see that. I would love to see that, please.
Hey, season 9. Maybe. Hopefully.
It's giving in in the way that Buck and Chimney are giving brothers-in-law,
Mm-hmm.
Eddie and Maddie are giving brothers and sister-in-law.
Yeah.
The same thing.
Yeah. And then Albert says, there is as much virtue to the noble warrior as there is to the most enlightened of scholars. Which I don't know if that's a quote from something specifically.
I tried to look it up. I didn't find anything.
I was like, it just sounds like something from a fortune cookie.
No.
It's adorable, though.
It does sound like a very wise, old saying.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like...
and Eddie likes it. And he's like, yes. What he said.
Yeah.
Say more nice things about me, Albert.
I really... And Albert is very complimentary to everybody because he
Mhm.
wants to make a good impression on
Mhm.
Chimney's behalf, right? But I do really love how quickly Eddie and Buck and Albert kind of like click a little bit because
They're the youngin.
they're the young... I mean, they're a handful of years older than Albert, who is 20, but like they are... At least Buck is like young at heart and Eddie wants to be young at heart.
Mhm.
And so like they already have found some things to bond over. And it's really cute just to see like how their relationship with Chimney kind of like bleeds over. Like they've already kind of taken Albert under their wings, the two of them. And Albert's talking about how, in this conversation of running away or running towards that, he just felt like he needed a little bit of Chimney's courage. And that at its base level is how he sees Chimney, how Albert sees Chimney. He reveres him. He thinks he's so cool. He thinks he's so brave and courageous. He's made his own life. He hasn't let their father dictate everything in his life and followed his dreams.
Specifically, the word courage probably triggered Chimney too, because like he thinks he's a coward.
Yeah.
Like, especially like because of everything about him in season 1.
Yeah.
He hasn't fully let go of that because all of
No.
the stuff with his dad has brought that back up.
Yeah.
Even though we know he's done the work.
Yeah.
To build himself up from that. But, it's natural to like backslide. Like progress is not a straight trajectory. So while Albert has kind of this like rose-colored glasses view of Chimney, that's also kind of how everybody else sees him too. That he's just like, he is his own person and he's proud of that person. But Chimney is like, no, you have the complete wrong idea, whatever you've dreamt up, because, their father hasn't told Albert like basically anything about Chimney, which is awful. Like, how are you not going to tell someone about your own brother, even if they live?
He doesn't know anything
continents
about
away?
him.
That's true. Yeah, exactly. But not even like the bare minimum of like how or why Chimney lives over in the States. Like that, So Chimney has to just like, feels like he has to burst Albert's bubble. And he's like, there's no stand. I didn't get out. I was left behind like I always am. And all he admits, like all he wants is for his dad to see him, to be proud of him and call him a son. But no matter what he does, he's always been invisible because Albert is the only son he cares about. And I think, and this is a lot of him projecting because Albert is only 20 years old. And we know this happened long before Albert was in the picture. So he is wrongfully putting blame on Albert, but he's the closest target. So because Albert is the only son that their father cared about, and Albert walked away from all of that love and attention, which was easy for him. So Chimney thinks, because Albert never had to work for it. Meanwhile, he also doesn't understand, even though Albert has said, father is suffocating, he's breathing down my neck, all of that stuff. Like Chimney just doesn't hear that.
And Chimney's just assuming that just because his dad raised Albert, that he was actually there meeting his emotional needs.
No.
And I think that's a giant leap.
He was arguably too present, but not in the way that matters.
Yeah.
No.
And yeah, so Chimney blows up at Albert. It's like, everybody loves Albert. Nobody loves me. And it's like, again, they love him because they love Chimney.
Yeah.
And he's always been trying to piece together a family. He kind of feels like Albert is trying to take it all away from Chimney. And that is obviously not what he's doing. This is where he brings up Kevin, because he had a brother who died.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And I absolutely, Han, think that you're right, that Chimney keeps Albert at arm's length because he doesn't want to have someone rely on him like a brother as well, when he couldn't even save Kevin. So it's he doesn't want to lose someone again as close to him as Kevin was, but he also doesn't want to disappoint and let down someone else.
Mm-hmm.
So he pushes Albert away before he even gets a chance to. And gosh, everyone's reactions when they see Chimney's outburst like that, he's usually so even keeled. Like, this does not happen often. Chimney's kind of like Buck, pretty even keeled even when they're irritated, but then sometimes it just explodes.
Crash out just happens.
The crash out, yeah.
It happens to them. It's not like they're making a choice. It's not like they do things. It's not like they're saying things to be hurtful most of the time. It's just shit that comes out and they're reacting.
Mm-hmm.
Whereas sometimes people like Eddie, when they're triggered, do say things to be hurtful on purpose, which is also a reaction, but like there's thought and intention behind
Premeditation.
it. Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
With Chimney and Buck, they are the kind of characters that think out loud.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
No, they don't think before they talk, and then they say things, and then as soon as they say that thing, they're like, oh shit, I regret that immediately.
Mm-hmm.
So
yeah.
Yeah.
And then and he knows he's royally messed up. Maddie is kind of, I think, taken aback at what's just transpired. Eddie and Hen kind of look at him with a little bit of disappointment, and Buck goes after Albert.
Yeah.
And which like is right too, because Albert also doesn't have anybody else except the 118 family. It's the little sibling thing.
It's the little sibling thing too. It's like, that was probably a little triggering for him too.
Mm-hmm.
Feeling dismissed by your older sibling, who is like the only person that you feel like you have.
Mm-hmm.
Like, so of course he's gonna go after Albert.
Yeah, it's triggering in that way, and he also Buck also understands how it feels like to be the one left. And yeah, he was probably also like, I also know I don't like it when other people leave. So I think he was also trying to prevent Albert from leaving on such a sour note. So he was like, come stay at my place, and was able to basically keep it in the family.
Like, calm down, and you guys then can talk it out later. Yeah.
And then Chimney doesn't have to feel like he got left again.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And doesn't have to feel guilty about outburst forever.
Yeah.
So I guess wrapping up back to Chimney, wrapping that up, is this really beautiful scene of Chim showing up at Buck's place, and thanking him for like letting Albert sleep there, like as if Buck didn't invite him. And Buck's just like, of course, he's your brother. It's like everyone's been saying this to him the entire time. Like, it's not even that they don't like or care about Albert as an individual person, not that they've got to know him, but it's always been, he had the track to like speed run being part of the group because of who he
had the end.
Chimney. Yes, exactly.
Yeah.
But Buck makes himself scarce.
He's like, bye.
He has to go take a shower because it's the only place with a door in his loft.
No, actually, that's true. There are 2 bathrooms, but
yeah,
he was like, I'm going to take the farther one.
Yeah.
Just in case there's more yelling.
Well, just to give them their privacy.
Yeah, that too.
Yeah.
The only place.
Probably texting Eddie also. Like, this thing's happening.
Yeah, Chimney.
Like, how long do you think I have to pretend I'm in the shower?
Do you think my water bill
I'm
will be
hungry.
really bad now?
Can you bring me food?
Any Uber before?
Anyway, sorry, back to Chimney.
Just a little bit of fan fiction. It's fine.
Chimney apologizes for the things he said, and Albert's like, no, you were right. We don't know each other, and like I shouldn't have, like, it was very presumptuous of me to show up on your doorstep. Like, I'm sorry, I'll pack up my stuff. And then they like finally have their first real conversation.
Thank God.
Since got there, where Chim can like get to know literally anything about him.
Mm-hmm.
And like his situation with, this is like the most insight he gets to the relationship, like with his dad and Albert.
Because he's actually ready to listen.
Mm-hmm. Yes. So Chimney's like, are you like heading back to Seoul? And he's like, no, there's nothing for me there. And Chim's like, but what about your parents? It's like, well, mom says she can't come, like she can't wait to visit me here in California. And dad will not speak to me until I'm back where I belong.
We knew that that's how their dad would react. But just to like hear that's what Albert's mom's reaction is, it's like, okay, have fun. Like, have fun storming the castle. Like, literally, like, oh, I hope you have fun on your adventures. Goodbye. Yeah. I'll catch up with you in 6 months.
Yeah.
Or whatever. And it's just like, okay, so obviously their dad is so over involved, and his mom may or may not be over involved in that way, but just seems fairly dismissive. And instead of like fighting to get him to come back, just lets him go. So I think that also speaks to like why Albert says there's nothing for him there. Because nobody is like, has his best interest at heart, asks what he wants. Just like, have fun. Or come back here now. It's one or the other. It's the over-involved or the completely disinterested, which is kind of the way the Diazes work out in that way, right?
Yeah. So Chim opens up and tells him like about how he came to stay in California without his dad.
Ugh. This is a heartbreaking story too.
It's like a funny story.
He says funny story, and meanwhile, it's like the most traumatic story you've ever heard in your life.
Funny story. My mom had cancer.
Yeah, and died. And my dad left me. When you're getting to know people and they're like, oh, so like, what does your mom do? Oh, funny story. She's dead. There you go.
Chimney would do that.
Yes.
And then like blow a bubble with his gum or pop his gum.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, just like that.
But yeah, so like they moved from Seoul to LA when like Chim was 5, and it was only supposed to be like a 2-year thing, and it lasted 6. So like Chimney was in middle school, like when they were supposed to go back, but
he had a whole life.
He had a whole life, and his mom loved it there, and she wanted to stay, and he wanted to stay with her. Can't imagine why. Father of the year. And he says, sure, you can imagine how that went over. Like, his mom wanting to stay. And Albert says, like a metal balloon. Like a metal balloon. He's like, lead balloon, but yes.
Quick tangent. I love the accent work that John Harlan Kim put in effort for Albert, because he's obviously, native Korean, speaking perfect or close to perfect English, like maybe not colloquial, and just kind of like the over enunciation of some things is like really endearing, because it shows it's just like a nice character moment, or like nice character work, character.
This is
concept.
Just bilingual problems.
Yeah. but like it's a character choice that he made, or that was agreed upon, or someone had the idea to do it, whether it was the actor or not. And also, I'm pretty sure John Harlan Kim is Australian.
I was like, isn't he Australian? So part of that could just be him
Australian things
trying to do the American accent as an Australian. I feel like
he's Australian doing native Korean,
doing an
English second language. Like, I feel like
there's many layers to this onion.
I feel like there's depth and layers to that.
Yeah. He was raised in Melbourne.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So like I just appreciate the accent work because it's like it's a character choice in that way. Because I think I've seen or heard clips of him speaking in like a regular English accent that isn't like this Albert kind of accent. I love accents.
He finishes the story and is like, Dad went back to Korea without us and like figured Mom would come to her senses. And
I think
she
had
didn't.
her senses about her, actually.
Yes. Yeah, she didn't. She got sick instead with cancer. And then like Rachel mentioned earlier, like says that like she fought like hell for a few years and eventually she couldn't fight anymore. Died a couple weeks before his 15th birthday, which is terrible, which is also puts into perspective that he's also thinking about how his mother died.
Like, right around his
this
birthday.
This is like the anniversary right now. Like,
yeah.
So all of this that just like terrible
makes it so
timing.
Much worse. Like,
yeah.
Especially like this could also be one of the reasons why he wants to have like nice birthdays because he had one that was so terrible that completely shadowed his birthday. His like 14th, 15th birthday?
It was his 15th birthday. Yeah.
Yeah. Because like if it's just a few weeks ago, you're still in the throes of grieving. Like,
yeah,
freshly. You're
I'm
not
sure
it
wasn't a great birthday for several years because that's probably all he was thinking about. Because it's my birthday and my mom's not here, but not only is she not here, but like my birthday just reminds me of her dying because she died.
And it's like
right before.
Every time I watch this episode and hear that story, I'm just like, for a brief moment, I'm like, oh my God, he was only 15 and alone in America. But it's like, no, he had the Lees. Mrs. Lee was his mom's best friend. So he had that found family that she would have had to help foster between all of them.
And that's how Chim was able to stay in the States and not go and like back to Korea or into foster care because his mother, put the Lees in her will.
Yeah. Oh, I just got goosebumps with that. My God.
I was like, is Han gonna say it or am I gonna say it?
Always gonna be one of us.
I literally just like that like dawned on me and I was like, oh.
Yeah.
Maybe KR had a point there. Kristen, right now.
I know.
Okay.
Are you talking about in 414?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Like we're seeing this kind of thing with the wills being put into play very early on because like it was first brought up in 305. So like there is a through line here.
Wow.
Just saying.
Anyway,
there's so many instances of this.
Crazy. Anyway.
So Albert's like, I'm sorry. And Chim is like, I was always jealous of you. Like your mom would email me these pictures and sometimes I would just think, man, that kid is so lucky to have a family, And Albert's like, I like your family better. Maddie, Buck, the other firefighters. And it was nice getting to know them because he's still like, I'm going to leave.
Yeah.
But at least it's on a good note now.
I'm going to be kicked out.
Yeah. Which is also like there are Albert and Buck parallels too that I'm sure we'll be talking about in the future. Because this is also such a very Buck thing to do, to just like be gracious in the face of like utter dejection and just be like, I will just go with my tail tucked, but thank you for saying nice things to me before I have to leave forever.
Do you mean like I'm happy for you, almost as sad as I am for myself?
Me. Yeah. And Chim's like, good, fair warning, they're around a lot. I hope you can handle that. Which is just such a Chimney way of saying, no, like you can stay.
Like finally welcoming him.
Now you're in the family. Yes.
Yeah. Because why? They've communicated.
Shocking.
I love communication.
They just needed to have a heart to heart and understand where the other is coming from.
Yeah.
Because they're really kind of experiencing very similar things. But Chimney wasn't receptive because he was so buried in his own trauma, essentially.
His own trauma, his RSD.
Oh. also butt coded.
Yeah.
But now that he's able to like take a step back, and he had that heart to heart with Maddie as well after the karaoke thing. And that's when she says, like, you know, her parents aren't bad people. They're just bad parents. And the mistakes they made with her, they made with Buck too, I think really opened Chimney's eyes and to this new perspective that like Albert maybe didn't have everything that Chimney didn't. It was bad also, but in a different way. It was
bad in a different way. He was there, but it was still bad.
Yeah. Great.
Anyway, yay, Albert's here. Yay.
Albert's here to stay.
Well,
for now.
Let me live.
He also gets to have a lovely ND.
Oh, that's
next season.
Actually, I kind of love it because it's just like so.
It's a good ND.
It's so poetic.
Yeah.
It's like it's so obvious.
It's so mean to Chimney specifically.
Listen, every season they gotta put Chimney through the ringer.
But like, how would you also like another dead brother?
Well, I think they do it to him twice, right?
Yeah, they do.
There's just like one last thing when they're all over at Eddie's and Maddie and Chimney are talking to each other, or Eddie tells Chimney, you know, there's the family you're born into and the family you choose, and the 118 is the family that we chose. So that also like makes Chimney, I think, appreciate what he has for what they are, like this family that he has pieced together because of him, and that the 118 is his real family, and also appreciating the Lees for how much unconditional love and support they've given him over so many years, and how they are the ones that see him. They are the ones that make Chimney feel not invisible. So his perspective is completely changed, and even Maddie's like, it's incredible that you and I think Albert ended up the way you did with the parents that you have. And Chimney's like, yeah, that's because of the Lees. It's because I had good people on my side. And then, you know, at the very end, we finally see Maddie meeting the parents, essentially. And I love having them back into the fold. I actually would have loved to see a lot more of them. I know we see them occasionally, but the longer hold when they come to Chimney's apartment, the longer hug that Chimney and Mr. Lee have, and like those significant looks that they give each other of just like, you are my father, I am your son. Like, this is what a father-son relationship looks like. This is what you are. This is what you are to me.
Yeah.
And it's so mutual and just like reciprocated and beautiful.
And I think, and if I remember correctly, the way I'm sure obviously they've repaired that relationship, you know, after like they lost Kevin, but like, I think where we had left off in like that flashback was that, oh yeah, Mr. Lee needed more time, but like it didn't, but even though, you know, he lost Kevin and all of that, like it never diminished the fact that, yeah, like that, you know, Chimney is also like his other son.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It never,
which I can't remember what she says, but she says something to the effect of like, he misses you, but he still needs a little more time. Yeah. Like something like that.
Which is completely fair. But still, you're right. The loss of Kevin for them never took away from their love for Chimney. No. And I think that took Chimney a long time to understand as well.
It's almost like parents can lose a child and still love the ones that are still alive. Crazy.
Wow. What a concept. That should be a total given. Margaret and Philip Buckley, we're coming for you.
Oh, yeah. Couple months from now, you're not safe.
No, you will not be marked safe.
When we catch you.
Bro. Eddie, I fear for how long our recordings are going to be of Eddie Begins and Buck Begins. Like, I'm actually scared.
I feel like we're going to need like a week to pre-plan that. I don't know.
Yes.
Yeah.
We got to do something about it.
Well, Eddie Begins, I'm fully preparing to be recording for like 6 hours. So feels like I hate it here.
I'm not having any other plans that day.
I mean, me neither, but
I will not be available. All right, let's talk about Buck and Eddie and then talk about Buck and Eddie. Just a couple things about Buck, who, like, I realize we have, as always, been talking about him the whole episode anyway.
Not our fault.
It's all about him.
We're going to make it all about him again until we make it about Eddie.
So they did remember that he almost died several times and wrapped that up neatly and like had him do, you know, a follow-up kind of a la like Chim did.
Yeah.
Last season.
10 months later, just like randomly first doctor.
Yeah, and these doctors all have horrible
They're terrible.
I'm assuming that there's like a rapport there from like having seen them so many times because it's like the same sense of humor, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, so Buck has a clean bill of health now. Like he's not on the blood thinners, and it turns out it was those damn screws.
Wow.
Oopsie.
Oops.
I mean, if you wanted to, could that be liable for like? No, it's just a side effect.
You gotta sign waivers for shit when you get surgery.
Yeah.
No, it's gotta be like malpractice. Yeah.
No, they did a good job. It just didn't. It just didn't agree with him.
Sometimes your body just doesn't like foreign objects in it and reacts in bad ways. Which is why you have to sign things that are like, you will not sue us if your body has bad reactions to things.
Fair.
Yeah. But they're both kind of mutually like, no offense, I just hope I never see you again.
See you never.
I feel like that doctor probably shudders every time he sees a fire truck. It's like, please God,
don't let it be him.
Every time he sees Buck, like on a patient chart, in a
waiting room because the miscellaneous person on his team is laid up again. He's like, God, can't escape him.
He's like, it's not the leg, right? Like, no, all right, cool.
No, my leg's good. That's all I care about.
No, I was just in a coma this time. It's fine.
No, my legs are good. Just my brain.
No, I'm here because my sister got her throat slit.
Yeah, no, my partner, but like I'm not going to specify that it's my work partner, got shot. I'm fine though. I'm just covered in blood.
I know those hospital receptionists hate to see a Buckley coming.
We needed someone write the fic where it is just like all of the 118 hospital visits for anything throughout the series, but it's from the point of view of like the nurses and doctors.
Yes. They're like the 118 again.
Yeah. So like not even the ones that are directly helping them, like ones who have helped them from previous injuries.
That are just like in the coffee break room. No, kind of like those two firefighters that but but hospital
all
staff.
Those firefighters. Yeah. Because I want it to be about everyone. Because like I know that they all are like, how are these people still alive?
Damn, it must be a dark day when they hear about Bobby.
Well, you know what? They were probably like, at least it wasn't on our watch. Like, at least it wasn't our fault.
No, they probably have given the 118 like a punch card.
Free hospital meal or free hospital stay?
Come in for 10 visits, get the next MRI or CAT scan or whatever free. Meet your copay, get an ice cream dinner. I don't know.
Those horrible ice cream cups with the little wooden excuse of a spoon.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Anyway.
We are in some kind of mood today.
I have one more thing to mention about Buck's clean bill of health. So even before this, when Buck and Eddie are about to do the skydive save, Bobby asks Buck, "Hey, how's the leg?" And Buck's like, "It's good. Got the screws out," which is obviously like foreshadowing for the clean bill of health. But Bobby asking, "How's the leg?" actually checking in with Buck about how he's doing, communicating, and trusting Buck to tell him the truth.
You love to see it.
Growth.
All it took was a lawsuit.
That's growth. That is
Men will find any reason to not communicate.
that is no. So I court ordered.
Took me a minute.
Wow. Wasn't technically court ordered, but yeah, I get what you're saying.
I mean, he was served.
He was served papers.
Yeah.
He did drop the lawsuit.
Yeah. So I just thought that was really nice, especially to start like the second half of the season in such a, it just very quickly and succinctly shows that we are in a much better place, like Buck mentally, Buck physically, but also Buck and Bobby's relationship has been mended or is on its way to mending itself from what transpired in the first half of the season. And it's just like, oh yeah, they're really working together now and trusting each other a little, or like Bobby is trusting Buck a little more, or the trust has been rebuilt from both sides. And I think that's really lovely to see. How was that?
Yay.
And then when and Maddie are at Eddie's and they just have a nice like little heart to heart, and Buck says, with all of the sibling stuff that's been going on between Chimney and Albert, and I think there's a lot of overlap, which we've been talking about, between Maddie and Buck and how those situations with their parents can be very similar. Buck says he's lucky to have her. And I think he really means that, especially after not having her for so long.
Yeah.
That it really comes from like a genuine, like heartfelt place. And Maddie's like, I have to save you from yourself. And in that like sibling bantery way. But I think they really they have saved each other by coming back together and really forming a new family with everyone else. Because yes, they are blood related, but in the grand scheme of like the 118 Fire family, like they're both such integral parts of that family, and they've been able to lean on each other in a really lovely way. There, see, I did it without making it gay and talking about Eddie in that part.
Incredible. Okay, Eddie
on screen. Listen, the joke was right there.
Yeah. Fair. Yeah, I don't have much to say because we've kind of touched on it a little bit, but the little lore drop about him enlisting, otherwise he'd be working with his dad, is so interesting because like we know now like how absolutely miserable he was.
Do we remember what
would have been?
Sorry.
What his dad does?
Yeah,
petroleum.
Oh.
He's like a petroleum engineer or something.
Yeah, that's how we know they're rich.
Yeah.
I can't even picture it.
So we get Eddie admitting stuff about like how he's had to also forge his own path. And we see that kind of culminate with what he tells Chimney, again, with there's the family you're born into and the family you choose. And the 118 is the family we chose. And he does emphasize like the we, because both Chimney and Eddie came from a place where like their parents, again,
all of them came from not good families.
Yeah.
And I think it is like very notable that it's Eddie is the one who's saying this line because A, he's the person who's been there the least amount of time. B, this man would rather do anything normally than say feelings out loud.
So when he says feelings, he mean them.
He very much means it. So like I think this was very much like a comforting, like reassuring Chim of like his place of like, just a reminder, dummy, like we're family. Because that line comes because Chim is like, do you think it's weird that we spend like 50 plus hours together at work and still choose to hang out together? And he's like, no, we're family, dumbass. Basically, but nicely.
Yeah.
He says feelings. Proud of him.
Yeah.
He has his moments.
He does. When he actually does express things like this, it's always 10 out of 10.
Yeah. Because it comes from the heart, dude.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You should do that more often.
Yeah.
So it's a really nice moment between Chimney and Eddie, which I feel like we don't get to see often.
No, we need more.
No, and we need that. Yeah.
We need more. More Eddie and everyone else who isn't Buck. Can't believe I'm saying that. but give it to me, please. Thank you.
It can still be about Buck. I mean,
Just more Eddie, please.
yeah.
Yes.
Eddie as captain.
But I want it to be, I just want more Eddie storylines where it isn't Eddie and Christopher or Eddie and Buck or Eddie and Buck and Christopher. Like I want.
Yeah. We want,
you know what I mean?
I mean, I think we just want to see a lot more of these different
Combos.
like character combos.
Yeah. And things like this. This is the only time we've ever seen him host. The first and last time we've ever seen him like host other members of the 118 in his home.
I
like
mean,
he invited them over.
It's also funny because like who are these other people?
I know, the unnamed like B and C shifts. Like who are you?
Like
people?
we saw Hen come over with Denny,
Mhm.
but like that was for
This
Christopher.
is a big family gathering.
Yeah.
And I think the only other times we see a large group of people at Eddie's house was technically for Shannon's wake when his family was in town. Like we saw them in in the backyard.
But that wasn't the 118.
No. And then when Eddie comes back home from the shooting, but that wasn't him inviting it. That was Buck surprising him with that. So this is the only time he's hosting.
Yeah, the only other time I can think about other members of the 118 in his house were not of his own volition. Like he has a breakdown, he wakes up and Bobby's there, and he thinks that Freddie Fake Man, a super real name, is showing up to lease his apartment or his home, and then it's Buck, and he's stressing the fuck out, and then all of a sudden everyone else is there.
Nothing between
and then they leave.
Those eyes. There's nothing.
Listen,
oh God,
we love our smart characters, but sometimes they can act real dumb. That's what makes them
Every
human.
single one of them.
That's what makes them human.
So anyway, slow burn. Are we done?
Speaking of dumb idiots.
Oh my God. Where are we starting?
I don't.
Explain bullet number 3. Someone, whoever wrote that.
Yeah. It's from, okay, yeah, sure, we'll start there.
Yeah. I wrote that down.
anytime there's like another queer, an MLM queer, like storyline happening on the show, I'm always like, looking
how does
for
this parallel?
How can I make this about Buck and Eddie?
We had Thomas and Mitchell.
Yes.
For obvious reasons.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So now we have Justin and other guy. Windpipe guy and the other restaurant goer.
Yes.
Pining, apparently unrequited mutual
pining. And it's in such a weird freak for freak way where they know so much about the other person and have never had real conversations.
Mm-hmm.
So like they're stalking each other's social media. Like the guy who we didn't learn anything about, because like the scene starts out with the person working at the deli or the bakery. What is it?
It's a restaurant.
And he's just like, I wish you would notice me. And I wrote all these things. And I know all these things about him.
I wrote a love note on this menu. And,
and you get the impression that like this other guy just like doesn't
know that he exists.
They
live on complete opposite, like different planes.
But then restaurant guy gets hurt and he's like, he has an allergy to this. And you're like, what? How do you know that?
Here's his lunch order because he orders it every day. Also, I think he has a nut allergy because he always asks for it without almonds. I know his first and his last name.
So first of all, it's just Buck and Eddie coded because like obsessed with each other, freak for freak, in a way that would be concerning if it wasn't mutual.
Yeah.
And it ends up being like very endearing and cute. If also like a little ridiculous and cringeworthy in like a secondhand embarrassment way. But I wrote down the quote that I think Justin is the guy that like wrote the love note on the menu. And he starts off by saying like, no man is an island, but two men together can share the world. And it's just like, that's so poetic and also great advice. Maybe somebody should tell that to Buck and Eddie.
Yes. Also advice they should take. The friend goes, my God man just talked to him. and he's like, that would involve me saying words to his face. And she's like, you have been looking at him like you were starving and he was lunch for a year now. You adjusted your schedule to match it. You're one order of boiled bunny away from being a stalker.
He's the buck-coated one, for sure.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. Who is like, this guy doesn't know I exist, but I'm so in love with him.
And I'm going to make this other person's problem, but also not do anything about it myself.
Yes. Yeah.
Meanwhile, this other guy who is so cool, calm, collected, competent, has observed a lot of things also in like secret, just like shows up when he needs to and is like, yeah, I'm showing up for you because I also feel the same way. And then when Hen and Chimney are like, you want to ride in the ambulance with him? He's like, yeah, actually. Like,
meanwhile, the other
It's
one was
just-
like, seconds before that, he was like, someone kill me, please.
he's
Oh
trying
my
to say
God.
something. Oh, kill
But
me.
listen, I'm just saying, like, it could be great foreshadowing or like a great like callback to have friends interfering to finally make two idiots talk to each other.
Pushing them together to...
Because literally all I get from this is just like, oh my God, please just tell him about your feelings. She was like, he's like, I wrote out all this shit. And she starts reading it and she's like, no man is an island, but two men together can share the world. That's a bit lyrical, sure. But he says it's like, it really opens up in the later pages. Why? What would you say? And she's like, hi, I'm Justin. Wanna hook up? Like, she's like, just be direct about it. So I just think it be something that we see.
Yeah.
It is kind of already something we see, which is just like them observing
The other.
Buck and Eddie, observing each other and how they are about each other and just being like, oh my God. Oh, so I'm your basketball beard. Think you two should hug it out.
He looks at me and I look at
I
him.
look at him.
Yeah. And I think one of the reasons I wrote down like that quote specifically, the no man is an island, but two men can together can share the world. It alludes so much to like equal partnership. And that's what we talk about with Buck and Eddie all the time. It's like individually they're fine, but they're so much stronger together, especially in this episode where we see them do a rescue together. And we kind of haven't really seen that for so much of the season so far. And it's like, yeah, the gang's back together, but like Buck and Eddie are back as the dynamic duo sort of thing. So it's like, oh, now they've had their divorce era. Now they're back together. So now they can like, they were literally their own islands, but now they can share the world because they've overcome that. Pulled that out. Speaking of the skydiving save at the very beginning with the daughter and her mom who likes to play matchmaker. And once they were saved, the mom looks over to like Buck and Eddie, who just did this like really heroic feat. And it's very impressive. So like, no wonder the mom asks this, like, fair. That's fair. But she asks them, it's like, are you single?
They both look at each other like, are we? Well, not even are we.
They look at each other like, how do we answer this? It's a little like, wow, that's brazen and like bold, but it's also just kind of like,
it's also fascinating that these kinds of scenes only ever happen to Buck and Eddie and while Buck and Eddie are together, because like, I'm also thinking about
204.
I'm also thinking about Stuck.
my favorite one.
Yes. Mostly because we just rewatched it.
Yeah.
But I'm thinking about like the fucking tailpipe call where it was like, yes, all of the firefighters there are hot, but like they're specifically like singling out Buck and Eddie, but like the Buck and Eddie are not interested in the advances and instead are like looking at each other.
Exactly. Again, another instance where they are both brushing off the come on, and it's just like they focus on each other as opposed to, you know, kind of going in their separate ways. And it's just like, because it was also, they've been approached together, you know, same thing with Stuck. Like there were two girls talking to both of them. And then the mom was talking to both of them, like almost addressing them as a unit, almost like a little
There's
bit.
also 704 at the Bachelor Mansion.
Oh, yeah.
I knew your eyes went wide for a reason. It was a good reason.
Because I was like, they do this other times too. But I was trying to remember. That's another big one where it is like they're both like they're getting hit on. And he's like, sorry, I'm spoken for, but he's single.
Yeah.
It's like I'm spoken for, meanwhile speaks for his partner.
Who essentially then is spoken for.
Yes, but he doesn't know that.
That's hilarious. On one hand, yeah, you can just be like, they're just looking at each other like, can you believe this? But no, it's the way they look at each other.
It's the way they look at each other, because it's not like, I feel like if it was happening to like Bobby or Chimney, like they would just be like lighthearted, like,
yeah, like
rejection,
no, thank you.
And then like joking with each other, like ripping at each other afterwards about it, right? But not like Buck and Eddie. They're the way they are with so many things, just weird. They're just weird.
You can't say no. They're just like. Funny how we watched that the other episode last.
Single.
Can't even say that he's in a relation. You know what? They're both just fucking weird.
Yeah, they're weird about each other and they're weird with each other.
They want to marry each other so bad it makes them look stupid.
What next?
Oh yeah. Sorry, I didn't read these or prepare for this section at all. I was just like, the gay will come to me.
The slow
I'm so
burn
proud of
stuff.
you.
Yes.
Well, you say it. You wrote it, the last one.
Okay. So when Buck and Maddie are over at Eddie's and they're talking to each other in the kitchen, and Buck goes and he tries to grab some food, on the tray before it has been served out to the rest of the party. And Maddie just slaps his hand. And what was he reaching for? Oh, I'm so glad you asked. He was reaching for sliders. Yes, sliders. Who else have we seen reach for sliders and then get their hand slapped away? Oh, could it be Buck slapping Eddie's hand away at Chimney's bachelor party in 706? You would be correct. And that is really interesting because that is married behavior.
Yeah.
I feel like I'm talking like Nick Miller right now.
A little bit.
You get one wife.
Yeah.
It's the way the world works.
It's the way it works. Why?
Yeah, it's just like a really weird coinky dink where it's just like Buck's reaching for the sliders. Maddie's like, no, you can't do that yet. We have to like serve them for reasons that we'll get to in a minute. And then we see that same exact thing, but reversed, where Buck is slapping Eddie's hand away. And so it's role reversal almost a little bit. So like Eddie is taking Buck's role in this case, and Buck is being, a little clipboard Buck about it.
Mm-hmm.
He's just like, no. So it's so familial.
Mm-hmm.
Whatever way you slice it, it's so familial that it's just like, these two are so close that they can do something like what Buck and Maddie did. Like their relationship is so
Just the comfortability.
yeah. It speaks to their comfort levels with each other.
So we have Maddie and Buddie parallels, but I want to just like briefly, because I did think of this earlier and I wanted to save it for here because all the time we're talking about how there's so many Maddie and Eddie parallels, right? And we're like, and that's really cool and like a lot of kismet, because it's like a lot of the time if you have good people in your life who have good traits, when you're looking for a life partner, you gravitate towards those traits, right? That make you feel safe and cared and loved for.
Someone that feels familiar.
Yeah. So but I don't know why, like, this episode really just like triggered, not for the first time, but it really started making me think about all of the Buck and Chim parallels. And there are so many. And I think it's just so cool how like it just like you can like one for one them individually and as a couple.
Yeah.
I think
it's great.
I think what really opened my eyes to that kind of dynamic was the episode in season 8 where Maddie lost her voice, and like there were so many like
Yes.
Buck, Chimney, Maddie, Eddie parallels, because like they were in both. So both Buddie and Maddie in that episode, there were Chimney and Buck. They were playing that supporting role, and like that's really where I was like, oh, like yes, like we already knew that Maddie and Buddie had parallels, but like kind of like what Han said, you can 1-for-1 them, like you can match them up, and like you can see how similar, like the way they interact with their other partner, you know. So like it's very well meshes together.
Yeah, I think the way that they function as partners to their, you know, own designated partner is just like so similar because of the similarities that they share as people. So like Buck and Chim are just like, they're like the ultimate housewife. They're just like, yes, I will support you in whatever you want to do. That's going to be good for you, because even if I think that's crazy and not a great decision, you know, I love you and I'm your biggest supporter and your number one fan and your biggest cheerleader.
They're the ultimate simps. Like,
yes, exactly. Exactly. And then you have Maddie and Eddie just being like utterly besotted and devoted in like a particular, like it's the same thing, like the way they look at their partner and the way they like indulge them in the things that annoy the rest of their friends and family,
which sets them apart.
So it's like, oh, Chimney or Buck are doing a thing that everyone else finds obnoxious, and Maddie and Eddie are like, I love them so much, you know, or they're playfully ribbing them for that thing while looking at them like, oh my God, that's the love of my life.
Blah, blah, blah. Proper name, place name, backstory stuff. Yeah. It's kind of fascinating how much there is. Like,
so thanks for this episode for making that just like click fully into place in my brain.
I think we'll be more aware of that
going forward.
Yeah, because it's just like, and then when you really look at it in kind of specifics, so like Chimney and Buck have always wanted to be seen. We know since last season with Buck, actually one of Buck's main wishes, like as part of his personhood, is to be seen. And we understand how deeply that resonates for Chimney as well. And then Maddie and Eddie are the ones who see them and truly understand them, like on a deep level.
They see them, they understand them, and they love them
for it
because of everything they are.
Not despite.
Not like in spite. Yeah.
Yeah. So it's just like, there's, I think, a reason why Chimney and Maddie have such a strong bond, because they've had to go through so much separately and together, and the way that they are able to come together because they see each other and they understand one another helps make their bond even stronger. So like, again, those like 1-to-1 comparisons, it's the same for Buck and Eddie, but they're not technically a romantic couple yet. So, but it's like, what is really the difference here? And there's not. There's not.
We just haven't seen one of those couples actually say they're a couple and kiss on screen. That's the difference.
Yeah.
There's literally no other difference. Like all of the things we just said, they're also raising a child together.
And like, if you go back to when Chimney and Maddie were obviously dating, but were just friends, like Buck and Eddie are that just beginning. Like extended.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because they don't know that that's an option for them and blah, 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 blah. But that goes into another conversation. But yeah, it's like relationship trajectory taking the same path. Wild.
I do also, and I can't really elaborate on this much, but I guess my last thought directly relating to this episode on this is that I think the way that Maddie is trying to support Chim in this episode reminds me of how Eddie tries to support Buck in Buck Begins.
Oh, yep.
Yeah. Where it's like, I'm not trying to fix this for you. I'm not trying to like, it's just because of how they operate. Like, and they know what the other person needs from them.
So it's kind of the same way how like Bobby also.
It's like a very quiet, like sturdy support, and then like a slap of reality if they need it. Right.
And it's also kind of the same thing, especially because it deals with parents, both sets of parents so heavily. But I think there's also something to be said for the way that like at the very end of both episodes, Maddie meets the Lees, Chimney's, the people who raise him, like his true parents, if not in blood and in everything else. And Eddie, I'm pretty sure it was implied that he spoke to the Buckleys on Buck's behalf. So it's also, you know, Chimney.
Ken is a weird thing to do.
I know.
As a friend.
I know. So it is doing an act the way an equal romantic partner would do. Like, because like if Mr. Han was there, Maddie would have stood up for Chimney to do the same thing. So Eddie goes and does essentially the same thing. They are both there and present with the parental figures in the way that their significant other needs them to be.
Yeah.
Maddie meets the Lees, and Eddie hopefully gives the Buckleys a piece of his mind. Like, and it's just like that, which is exactly what Chimney and Buck respectively needed. Wow. I love them so much.
Me too.
There's so much here.
Well, are we ready for the last thing?
Yeah.
Okay. One of the craziest things they've had Buck say to date.
You know the line.
You know it.
You love it.
I know it. We all know it.
We think about it every day now because of how we ended season 8.
Yeah. So Maddie is being a perfectly reasonable person because like Buck is like, I don't understand why you like basically bullied me, bullied me into bringing something. And he makes a big deal about it. Like, oh my God, I had to like, she's like, you didn't even make these. And he's like, but I had to go to the store and I had to bring it here. like,
I'm like, in just
like,
a
I don't even
couple
understand
years,
why you made me do it. And she's like, that's just what you do when you're invited into something. Like, I'm trying to teach you manners, you wild animal.
And it's funny because in just a couple years, he'll be baking all of that stuff himself.
Yes.
So like,
yes. And the thing is I think he would have naturally brought something to anyone else's house, but he doesn't have that inclination for Eddie's because why? What does he say?
Oh,
I'm not a guest.
He says, but it's Eddie's place. I'm not really a guest. And he says it in such a like, you should know this.
Yeah.
It's such a given. This is Eddie's place. I'm not really a guest.
A guest here.
Are you crazy? I practically live here and will soon in a few years' time. Beside the point. But
she just has to listen to this shit come out of his mouth and say nothing. Release her.
Oh, he's digging his own. He's like digging himself a deeper hole in this because it's just like, why do you think you're not really a guest at Eddie's, but everybody else is? Even though they're part of the same family, you're just the closest one. I wonder why that is.
Like, if you're not a guest, like, what are you then?
That's the question. What are you, bro? I had to throw that in there.
He was just a subletter.
I mean, to that aspect, like, I think you have Buck acknowledging that he is more than just, you know, whatever, like base level 118 family. But then when you bring in the whole, like, I was just a subletter, he's also minimizing his importance as well. So he is living in that really gray area where it goes unspoken. Because if you put words to it, that's different.
But that's how you know something shifted, because he's known him for a year generously and is like, I'm not a guest here, and just feels entitled to that space to just like make himself a home because he's always been welcomed and made to feel that way.
Yeah.
And it's not that, I don't think, because we don't know why he's looking for a new place at the end of season 8, if it's of his own choice or whether something else happened. But I assume there's the little hamsters in his mind are spinning the fuck out.
Going on that little wheel.
Thinking about what Tommy said.
Mm-hmm.
And that makes it different. Because if they were strictly just platonic friends, why would he already, like, you already said your credit was fucking terrible. Eddie's broke. Why wouldn't you just live together for a little bit? Because that's your home.
And save some money.
Especially in the LA economy.
You're not a guest there.
Yeah.
You're not a guest there. You haven't been a guest ever.
It's never been a problem.
And you're literally subletting it right now. So, like, why all of a sudden is it, like, it really felt lived in. It felt like a home, but I was just a subletter. What changed, Buck?
Your perspective?
And that is the question.
That is the question. It's like, if you're not a guest, what are you? If you're just a subletter, what are you not saying? It's that unspoken role that they both have in each other's lives that they never really put words to. They call each other like best friend, but like never really to their face. It's always to someone else, but they never communicate exactly what they are to each other because they just kind of know. But also, like, if you don't put a title to it, it doesn't change anything.
And they've never said I love you, which is just a weird thing.
Platonic friends would say that all the time.
For best friends to never, and I'm like, even though they're men, it's like they're millennial men.
Look at Sean and Gus from Psych. Quintessential platonic best friendship.
It's not like they would say it all the time, but like they would say it after like big events or like after a big like emotional thing.
It would have to be like, I love you, bro. Like,
yes,
I love you,
like,
man. Like, it's
when
so
they were
easy.
having their breakup in the rain with the U-Haul, it would have been, you know, I hope you know that I love you, man. Not, I hope you know you do matter to me, and this thing between us was messy. What are you saying? What do you mean?
It's like, because they don't put any words to it.
Like, if they were just friends and it was platonic, it wouldn't be weird. These things wouldn't be happening and being weird because it's not weird things to happen to normal platonic people.
The fact that they don't lean into that stuff, the absence of that, the void that it leaves,
sus as fuck.
That's the weird part. Yeah, it speaks louder than any words they could say there, because it's just like, why aren't you just like hamming it up with your bro? Like, I love you, bro. I love you, bro. Like, it's always.
I'm trying to think
like,
of anyone that I would consider one of my closest friends, and like, have we never said I love you to each other? And the closest I can think is just a friend who we don't say it that much, but we have said it. So, like, it's just weird. The only reason, like, I can think in my gay little brain that I would be weird about saying that to my best friend is if I had different. Other kind of feelings for them.
Is if that I love you held maybe a greater weight.
And it would feel like you were showing some cards that you didn't want to.
It holds greater weight and greater meaning than just a regular, I love you, sister. I love you, brother. I love you, dad. You know? Which they do say to those other people. But never to themselves, never to each other, because it means something different. And they are so concerned, again, specifically after Buck came out, with keeping that status quo, because it is a very tenuous thread. I keep using the word tenuous. It's like my favorite word right now. I just hyperfixate on it. I'm sorry. One of the other episodes I just edited, I said it like 5 times. It's so annoying. But it really is like it's like a tenuous thread, and like you put any more weight on it, it's not one of those Spider-Man webs with like that super tensile strength. No, it's gonna
snap, and they're gonna fall.
Put anything else
on the ground hard.
They're gonna go splat.
You heard it here first, folks. Buck and Eddie go splat in season 9.
Right. So
please, I hope this is not a prediction.
They should have gone splat into season 8 finale. I don't know what close to splat, near splat, and we didn't get that.
Just like
They've got to
so
crash out more.
wild.
I mean, like they kind of did a little bit in 17,
Yeah. More.
in 8/17,
Yeah.
but no, there's got to be more.
Yeah.
There's got to be
more
other
communication.
completely normal things to happen that make one or the other or both of them just fucking crash out.
Spiral into something
Yes.
like mountain out of a molehill
Mhm.
would be no problem for anyone else, platonic partners
Mhm.
or like people who are actually in a relationship. But for them, oh no, it's a big deal.
And I'm just saying, I think it could center around this whole idea of the home,
Yeah.
the Buckley Diaz home, which we can say because Buck lived there.
Yep. Because if Buck's not really a guest, what is he?
Is he? Sound off in the comments.
Oh.
Remember, don't go surfing on top of a fire engine.
But if you do,
Take a buddy with you.
Thank you for listening to the Buddy System podcast from start to finish.
We literally cannot shut up about 911, so please come talk to us on your favorite social media platform.
We're at Buddy System Pod everywhere. That's BUDDIE System Pod.
Leave a 5-star review on Spotify or Apple Podcasts to get a personal shout out in the next episode. The Buddy System is a Nerd Virgin Media production featuring music from Divinity.
Can't get enough of the buddies? Subscribe to our Patreon for access to exclusive content and our Discord community.
Catch you next time. And don't forget,
Bring a buddy with you.